Well, hello everyone. Welcome to a two shot actually. So I haven't uploaded in a while, but anyway, this is Monsun Tontin. I hope I pronounced that right. That's what Google Translate said. It's Vietnamese. I've never spoken Vietnamese before, but by Violetfruity. Here is the summary. Monsun Tontin, or using alcohol to confess one's love. Confess one's feelings, jeez. After being ditched by his mentor, Atsushi finds himself stuck alone at a bar thinking about his crush, especially over something as simple as a drink. Luckily, a stranger is there to keep him company, offering him help with his complicated feelings. What's interesting though is that the man beside him looks oddly similar to the person he likes. It's just confession between them. Nothing could possibly go wrong, right? Now, this is a two-shot, and this is a new ship that I just discovered today. Atsushi and Chuuya. I love it. It is amazing. Yeah. So anyway, let's get started into this. Atsushi watches the clock, waiting for his mentor, Osamu Dazai, who had abruptly left, claiming there was an emergency issue he needed to take care of quickly. Though Atsushi knows better, Dazai is lying through his teeth. He isn't blind, and his heterochromatic eyes aren't just for show. Dazai is probably chasing after that pretty young woman from the bar, following her somewhere, no doubt asking her to join him for a double suicide. Though he does, just as he does with every woman his brown eyes land on. Honestly, why is he even staying here at this bar? Atsushi asks himself that question every minute, low-key regretting his decision, and even regretting trusting Dazai to bring him more. To begin with, Atsushi isn't interested in going out to a bar at 11 o'clock at night. First, his bedtime had long passed. Second, he worried about Kyoko being alone overnight, even though she was strong enough to protect herself as a former assassin in the Port Mafia. Atsushi sighs. It had been his mentor's idea to treat him today, yet here he was, alone in a bar. It was crazy how they even let him in. He wasn't even old enough to drink. He wasn't even old enough to enter to drink. However, Dazai has his ways. One charming smile with a few friendly words to easily get Atsushi inside without any interference. Atsushi thinks Dazai is full of surprises, never being able to beat him at anything. He rests his gloved hand on his cheek, his forearm touching the table. Atsushi has been alone for some time now, and he really wants to go home, yet there's always a chance that Dazai might come back. Okay, that's a lie. Maybe the woman agreed to Dazai's offer and they're off on a double suicide date, or she rejected him, called the police, and is now being arrested and questioned. Atsushi leans towards the second option more. No sane woman would accept Dazai's offer anyway. He should have paid for his drinks and left by now, yet he remains in the same seat for the past half hour. Perhaps it's the relaxing jazz music being played in the background, the calm atmosphere, or even the comfy decorations that the comfy decorations that catch his eye and make him stay longer. The bartender notices that Atsushi is left alone after Dazai left, feeling pity for him as the only one remaining. Out of pity, he offers Atsushi a drink on the house. Atsushi wants to refuse, though the bartender keeps insisting. He accepts. A Poco Grande glass in Atsushi's hand catches his attention with vibrant colours. A bright blue oceanic bottom layer reaches halfway up the glass, cool and vibrant. Additionally, a soft light orange layer on top, like the warmth of a sunny day, fills the other half, nearly to the rim. The orange slice rests neatly on the edge, a ring of sugar encircling the glass. Atsushi thinks the bartender did this on purpose. Really. There was no way out of a million options he would have to pick the drink Wet Dream. Ugh. Just so happened to resemble him that much. He must be crazy for thinking over the Port Mafia executive, Chuuya Nakahara, because of a simple alcoholic drink. Atsushi's mind is not working efficiently today. This is all Dazai's fault, Atsushi whispers. See, he never considered himself as an alcoholic. He is more of a juice or even soda person. But because of Dazai's encouragement, Atsushi drank 2 tall alcohol glasses that Dazai recommended. They didn't taste horrible, yet not good enough for his liking either. The flavours were just there, lingering on his tongue before it disappeared without any long-lasting impression on him. Because of Dazai's issue, Atsushi is now alone at the bar with a bartender. Because of Dazai's absence, Atsushi has a free drink on the house, and he's thinking about his enemy, his crush, for that silly reason. Yes, this is all Dazai's fault. This crush thing started a few months ago. He knew liking a mafioso, a high-ranking mafioso, an executive to be exact, was a horrendous choice. However, it's not his fault. Not when Chuuya was, so where should Atsushi even start? The first time they met outside of work, they met a few times outside of work. The first time was when Atsushi and Kyoko went to buy cakes together. Atsushi accidentally bumped into Chuuya while he was with a little blonde girl. He apologized, of course, but Chuuya insisted that it was his fault instead. Chuuya was so helpful, he assisted Atsushi on picking out a cute mini dog cake for Dazai. Atsushi is pretty sure Dazai liked it so much that he was lost for words when he opened the bag. The next time Atsushi saw Chuuya was in an alley. He had just so happened to walk past it as a shortcut while on a mission. Atsushi spotted Chuuya, which caused him to hide behind a garbage cart because Dazai had warned him that Chuuya was a terrifying mafia executive and that he needed to stay away from him. He raised his head a little, quietly observing the scene. Chuuya knelt with an arm extended, feeding some stray cats with a soft smile. Atsushi didn't understand. Chuuya looked so kind and loving that even he said without blinking an eye, how could someone like him be so dangerous? Dazai was probably exaggerating. Sadly, Atsushi had to get back on track, continuing his mission once he saw Chuuya turn his head around. He quickly lowered his head so he wouldn't get caught, and fled from the scene without any sounds. Later on, he finds himself admiring the gravity user for his strength during battles he hadn't witnessed firsthand, but had heard from Dazai, Kyoko, and Koryo. Soon that admiration turns into a crush, within a few months. Atsushi thinks about the redhead man even at work, and still does. Thank the Lord Rompo hasn't said anything, laughing his ass off when Kunikita caught Atsushi daydreaming sometimes. Atsushi doesn't dare to call it love. He isn't sure about that, but he knows one fact. He likes Chuuya Nakahara a lot. But he also knows one fact. Geez, English. Chuuya Nakahara does not like him a lot. Their last encounter from last week confirmed it all. Atsushi remembers when they didn't have enough money to buy when he didn't have the last money to buy the latest crepe flavor for Kyoko on his way home. Yes, he was very poor at the moment, and still is. Yes, he was very poor at that moment and still is, just a little better now. Chuuya happened to be nearby and offered to pay, not making fun of him for it. Atsushi wanted to pay Chuuya back in the future, but the older man shrugged and said and left, saying, "Don't worry about it, kid." And he waved his gloved hand through the air. A pout appears on Atsushi's reddened face. He hates that. He isn't a kid. He's an adult. A young adult, to be exact. Chuuya sees him like a kid, like almost everyone else in the agency. He really doesn't stand a chance. Never a chance to start with. Chuuya and him are so different, like two separate people from opposite sides, making it difficult to connect. Even the smallest hope in his heart vanishes, like a weak flame of a candle snuffed out by the wind, leaving everything to be consumed by darkness. Atsushi lifts the cocktail off the table and brings it closer to his lips, and takes a small sip. Bitter is the first thing that comes to his mind as the strong orange vodka hits his senses, the sharpness rising through his nose. Atsushi has never been one for bitterness, though. Surprisingly, it doesn't bother him much. In fact, he kinda likes it. He licks the sweet sugar on the rim remaining on his tongue, the flavour balancing out perfectly. One small sip turns into two, then three, and until he reaches halfway of the glass. Atsushi picks up the orange slice, placing it in his mouth. Bittersweet. Perhaps the orange describes his situation perfectly. Liking Chuuya feels so good, an enjoyable feeling that makes his heart beat faster whenever he thinks about the older redhead man. Yet, liking Chuuya feels so wrong at the same time. Atsushi wonders if it's normal to feel this type of attraction towards another man as a man himself. Throughout his life at the orphanage, he was taught that men always love women. Men are always with women. Love should be that way. Never once did he hear about a relationship between men, as if it was a strictly forbidden thing that needed to be kept from the world. If that was the case, then is it normal for him to be like this? Atsushi has no intention of letting that go anytime soon, yet the more he carries it to himself, the harder it gets. As if thick, sharp blades within him are stabbing at his poor heart repeatedly, each cut deepening and making him more emotional and vulnerable than ever. Atsushi places the cocktail on the table, again, his free arm resting on the table as he buries his face into it. Atsushi feels like a fool, a hopeless romantic fool. "Damn, you look terrible, Tiger." The man's voice cuts through his complicated thoughts, forcing Atsushi to partly open his eyes. Then he hears a noise, like the sound of a chair scraping against the floor, followed by the adjustment of the bar stool. Atsushi thinks Starzai has returned, but that idea is quickly crossed out. His mentor never acts like that. Starzai would make some lame joke to bring his mood up, so it can't be him. Atsushi continues keeping his head down as he struggles to keep his eyes open. That wasted bandage wasn't joking when he said when you were here like this. The guy hisses. Yup, that one sentence confirms it all. The man continues. "You're wasted. I never took you to be this type of guy. I'm impressed." Atsushi notices the man was right. He was wasted. Not like Atsushi would admit that out loud, though. "You okay there?" The man has his full attention on Atsushi, asking with a concerned tone. Usually, Atsushi would say yes, keeping things for himself. Hang on, gotta make sure. Okay, cool, it's good. Usually, Atsushi would answer yes, keeping things to himself out of fear that it might bother others. However, maybe due to the past glasses of alcohol he had been drinking at this moment, and the one he's drinking at this moment, geez English, something takes over his mind and causes the escape to answer his lips. No, I'm not okay." An awkward tension is between them. An awkward tension between them develops right after Atsushi's answer. Neither of them speak, nor the bartender. Atsushi curses himself for creating this silence and opens his mouth trying to speak properly. I'm not sure. I don't know what's wrong with me. Having someone, an unknown man, sit next to him offer his company, the company Atsushi desperately needs. It's ironic that he finds himself trusting this stranger, though they haven't spoken for more than 5 minutes. Atsushi begins to feel, though they haven't spoken for more than 5 minutes, Atsushi begins to reveal the hidden feelings he has kept in for months. Maybe this man is someone close to Dazai. Someone Dazai trusts to look out for him. Or maybe this was just a random guy checking in on him out of pity. Either way, it doesn't matter. This man seems kind enough to start a conversation, so Atsushi wouldn't bother staying silent. Lately, I can't stop thinking about this one particular person. Really? What makes her? Atsushi raises his hand, shaking it slightly. Him, he quickly corrects, rubbing his eyes with the palm of his hand. He makes me feel happy, and I get this strange feeling inside my stomach. A good feeling whenever I think of him. He's just so kind and beautiful. Honestly, the prettiest guy I've ever seen in my life. I know I shouldn't be feeling this way towards him, but the way he looks so good in those suits, like he always does, the way his hair is so soft, the way his head looks so soft and nice under the sun. A smile naturally forms on Atsushi's lips as he continues to speak, excitement bubbling up in his voice. He grips the handle of the Poco Grande glass with both hands, his eyes fixated on the wet dream. Gosh, no. It's a drink. It's a drink. I promise you, YouTube, it's a drink. On the drink, wet dream, visualizing Chuuya. God, that's so wrong. I don't even know if that's a real drink. Oh no. Okay, back to this nightmare. I love this fic, but oh my gosh. That's really gotten to me. Visualizing Chuuya. The way his eyes are so pretty, bright blue eyes like an ocean. He's so... Atsushi turns his head to look at the stranger. He pauses for a moment, staring at the man before glancing back at his drink, and then returning his gaze to the stranger. No, Atsushi, he thinks. You can't think of Chuuya just because the man in front of you is wearing a nice black suit along with a nice fedora hat on his head. Your eyes, they're nice. He compliments, resting his chin on his fingers as he clasps his hands together. He's officially lost it. His vision is blurry, everything turning into hazy shapes. He can't focus on anything, not the low dim lights, not the table, not even the man sitting in front of him. Nothing looks the way it did when he first entered the bar. He's so out of it, he's so out of it that he's starting to see a resemblance between the stranger and Chuuya. The man lets out a low cough into his gloved fist. Jeez, English. Thanks, kid. No, not you too. I hate that. Please, don't call me that ever. God, I'm not good at doing drunk voices. The man nods, his expression unreadable. Atsushi releases a long sigh, his shoulders slumping slightly as the weight of his thoughts drags him down. Everyone sees me as a kid, but I'm not. I'm an adult. I know what I'm doing. I don't want to be treated like a child, especially by him. It's the worst feeling ever. Why can't he see that? Atsushi's gloved hands fall onto the table, his weak, wary voice just above a whisper. I want him. I like him a lot, but he rejects me. I'm scared he hates me. I mean, he probably does. Maybe it'll make him hate me even more. Well, did he tell you that? The man asks. His curiosity peaks as he listens closely to every word. Atsushi slowly shook his head. No. Then, hang on. Have you talked about your feelings to him straight across the face? How would you know how he feels if you've never asked? He's the strongest martial arts user in the most dangerous organization, one of the top mafia executives in Yokohama. We rarely meet, and it's not exactly easy to talk to him without his men coming for my head for $7 billion. Not like Atsushi can say that all to the stranger anyway. Well, An arm rests on the back of his chair, a hand patting his shoulder. Man up. Tell the lucky guy how you feel. It's as simple as that. Who knows? Maybe he likes you back. You gotta try and see for yourself. Is that my Chuuya voice? Oh my gosh, that's actually a good Chuuya voice. Sorry. The simple yet encouraging advice from him sparkles a small hope within Atsushi, lighting a flame's candle once more and pushing the darkness away. If only he had the heart, if only for a moment in his heart. How can I do that? Relax, just practice, alright? I'll help you out. The man's hand stays on his shoulder. Imagine I were him and you're telling me your feelings. You would? Really? Atsushi looks up at him in surprise. Totally. Feel free to do whatever you want. The man has a smirk on his face, nodding his head. Try your best. Atsushi takes a deep breath. His vision may be blurry, but that doesn't mean his words will falter. He can't afford to be shy or hesitant. Especially, besides, the man looks oddly similar to Chuuya, making this a great opportunity for practice. Oh well, it's not like he'll encounter the man again anytime soon, so there's no need to hold back. I'm not good at explaining how I feel because these types of feelings are new to me. Gosh. I'll try to make it simple. Atsushi grips it tight around his drink. He starts slowly, his voice trembling at first, but he forces himself to stay steady. He takes a deep breath before continuing. I've always admired you. You helped me on the first day we met. You're so nice and kind to me and to others too. Your great strength and how you use your ability as your advantage in battle impresses me. Atsushi pauses, bringing his glass of wet dream, thank you, not for YouTube, okay, thank you, of wet dream to his lips, draining it completely as though gathering the courage from the drink. When he places it back down, there's nothing left between them but the words he's about to say. I thought it would only stop at admiration. However, there's something about you, something that makes me feel comfortable around you. When I see you smile, I feel so happy, like I never did with anyone else. Even though we don't talk much and we're supposed to be enemies, I can't help it. His voice drops, his vulnerability hanging in the air. That's way more than admiration. His voice cracks and Atsushi's lips... That's way more than admiration. His voice cracks and Atsushi's chest tightens as words leave his lips. I don't know if this makes sense. Oh wait, that's Atsushi. It's way more than admiration. His voice cracks and Atsushi's chest tightens as the words leave his lips. I don't know if this is making sense or if I'm even saying it right, but A wave of dizziness crashes over him, his blurry vision worsening as the room seems to tilt slightly. He feels extremely hot, like he's in a desert. His first instinct is to grasp the edge of the table, but it doesn't seem to help. The heat overwhelms him, and before he can stop it, his head falls forward, landing on the hard surface with a dull thud. Hey, are you okay? He feels strong arms around his shoulders, shaking him repeatedly, trying to keep him conscious, though Atsushi's body refuses to do that. His mind slipping, the world around him fading into the dizzying heat. Don't you dare pass out on me. No, he can't. He can't pass out during a confession like this. If he ends like this now, how can he have the courage to do it in the future in front of Chuuya? Atsushi weakly raises his arm, his fingers gripping at the man's arm to stop him. How ridiculous, he thinks, as his blurry vision somehow tricks him into seeing the man clearly. Into seeing the man clearly from. Hang on. As his blurry vision tricks him from seeing the man clearly into seeing Chuuya Nakahara. He must be hallucinating, so caught up in the confession that his mind's playing tricks on him. Yet, despite knowing this, it feels comforting. For one moment, it feels real. His hand moves on its own, reaching to hold on the unman's hand, his fingers intertwining with his as he uses the last bit of strength his body has. With a faint smile, he utters the most important line of his life. I like you a lot, Chuuya. And then everything goes dark. Chapter 2. Hey, wake up! Chuuya shouts. However, no matter how loudly he shouts, or how tightly he grips Atsushi's shoulders, Atsushi refuses to wake up. His heterochromatic eyes remain sharp, his face relaxed into a soft smile, as if he's sleeping peacefully and proud of himself. Chuuya immediately finds it cute, especially with the faint blush on Atsushi's cheeks. But there's no way he'd admit it out loud. Besides, now isn't the time to be thinking of such things. He's had a few drinks, the bartender says, taking the half-empty Poco Grande glass with his hand. He turns on the sink beneath him, letting the water run before pouring out the remaining drink in the glass, then adds more water as he begins to wash. Poor guy's been ditched by his friend. Poor guy had been ditched for a while by his friend until you arrived, he says offhandedly. Once he's done cleaning, the bartender pulls out a small white bar mop towel. We just call them tea towels over here, but bar mop towel to dry the glass. He turns around and places the glass back on the shelf behind him. What piques the bartender's mind is that the redhead hasn't spoken anything after his comment. When he glances over his shoulder, he sees the redhead looking at the drinker, with their hand still held. The bartender coughs once, but the redhead doesn't react. He coughs twice, harder this time, finally catching the redhead's attention. Looks like the check's on you tonight. Not like the poor guy over here can cover for himself. Not that Chuuya minds paying, though it's a bit ridiculous. The damn bandaged bastard Darzai had mentioned earlier that he took Atsushi out, yet somehow didn't even bother to pay for their drinks beforehand. Chuuya can't help but scoff internally at that. He pulls out his wallet with his free hand, his fingers brushing open the smooth leather as he flips it open. His thumb slides out the credit card with practiced ease and raises it towards the bartender. The bartender takes the card without a word. His movements elegant as he swipes it through the register next to him. After a moment, the bartender hands the credit card back, his gaze flickering between the two, no doubt sensing the romantic tension in the air. Gosh, he wishes to go home. The audacity of these two, acting like this place is some sort of acting like this after the practice confession is bizarre. Even worse, making him feel like a third wheel in his own bar. He did not get paid enough for this. Gentlemen, I'll be closing soon. Can I trust you to get this fellow home safely? Chuuya's blue eyes continue to look over at Atsushi, who is unable to see, walk, or even stay awake. It's obvious he's in no condition to get home on his own. So, of course, Chuuya will take him. Plus, the redhead already promised, more like does I force him to make that promise, to keep an eye on the brunette's mentee. Chuuya nods. Sure. He says as he pulls the credit card out of his wallet. As he puts the credit card back in his wallet, his gloved hand leaves Atsushi's, travelling down to his waist instead. Casually, the redhead picks the drinker up over his shoulder. The bartender says, "Have a good night." "You too." "Thank you. You too." The redhead says, after getting up from his seat, heading towards the door and leaving the bar. The bartender watches the two men leave and sighs in relief. He can't help but feel bad for the white-haired guy, abandoned by his friend and clearly wrestling with complicated feelings of love. The bartender, being single and happy, can't relate one bit. However, still having an ounce of empathy within him, he genuinely wishes the guy the best in the future. Chuuya gently places Atsushi down on the red leather couch in his living room, laying him down so his entire body stretches across its length. His head rests against the armrest, while his arms hang limply at his sides. His legs are slightly bent, his feet brushing against the other end of the couch. The redhead then places his hat on his hat on the hack rack, and is about to make his way to the bathroom for a warm shower when he hears a low groan. Where am I? Atsushi says weakly, his eyes slowly opening as he sits up on the couch. He places a hand on his head as he straightens his body. A wave of dizziness rushes over him, leaving him uneasy. "Hey there. You passed out, so I brought you back to my home. Brought you back home. Well, my home." What? Panic floods Atsushi's mind. Not only did he pass out, but he's in someone else's place. Someone he barely met for who knows how long. Could cars kindly shut the fuck up? If you didn't hear that, that's just... I've got the window open because it's a surprisingly warm night for April. Let me get the temperature. It's 20 degrees. Translation for Americans, I want to say about 60 degrees Fahrenheit. But yeah, surprisingly warm for 1 o'clock in the morning. Anyway, back to this. What? Panic floods Atsushi's mind. Not only did he pass out, but he's in someone else's place, someone he barely met for who knows how long. He needs to get back home. Kyoka is waiting for him. Thank you, but I need to go. Go where? You can barely stand properly. You can't even stand properly. Chuuya interrupts, noticing Atsushi's trembling hand grip the back of the couch for support. His pale face and uneasy posture spoke volumes. I don't think you're capable of crawling out of here, let alone making it to the street. He continues seriously. Atsushi wants to agree. his lips ready to say he's fine. No, okay. Atsushi wants to argue, not agree. Atsushi wants to argue, his lips ready to say he's fine, but his body says otherwise. His head throbs and a wave of nausea twists in his stomach. His limbs feel heavy, like they're weighted down, and every small movement makes the room spin. A bitter taste lingers in his mouth, and heat rises uncomfortably in his chest. The redhead notices Atsushi's condition and orders in a firm voice, "Stay there. Don't move, alright?" The white-haired man nods, his heterochromatic eyes following the other as he disappears into the kitchen and returns moments later. Moving his gloved hand towards Atsushi, the redhead gently places a cup of water on the table next to the couch. He commands, "Here, a hangover supplement." Chuuya's eyes look into Atsushi's, as if silently urging Atsushi to take it without any question. Okay. Atsushi hesitates for a brief moment before taking the pill out of his hand. His fingers brush lightly against the glove, placing it into his mouth. He grabs the cup of water after his hand stops gripping the couch. Okay, cut that out. That is at 9 minutes. Okay, let's go. Placing it in his mouth, he grabs the cup of water after his hand stops gripping the couch. Tilting his head back slightly, he takes the pill, he takes a sip, the water washing over the pill as he swallows it down his throat. Setting the empty cup back down in its original spot, he mumbles again. "Thank you again." His voice carries a hint of lingering gratitude. "You're welcome," the redhead replies, his tone casual but laced with concern. "So, how are you feeling? Any better?" he asks, lowering himself onto the couch beside Atsushi. His eyes scan over Atsushi's expression, searching for any signs of improvement, as he rests his arm along the back of the couch, leaning slightly towards him. "Oh, yes, I think so," the white-haired man answers, his voice soft, yet a hint of uncertainty. He runs a hand through his hair, as if trying to shake off the lingering fog in his mind. His gaze shifts down towards the redhead, his brows furrowing slightly in confusion, trying to remember which person trying to remember which person this is that Dazai sent to fetch him. Jeez, English. Why is English so confusing? This and that should not be so close together. Anyway. Dazai sent you to the bar to get me, right? Did he say why? He asks. That's the same question Chuuya had on his mind. Out of everyone, that bandaged man decides to choose him. Literally any AITA member could have done the job just as well, if not better. Chuuya's thoughts drift back to the moment before he was sent to pick him up. "Are you fucking nuts?" Chuuya curses through his teeth as he holds the phone close to his ear. The other person on the phone whines dramatically. "Come on, it's just one time." That's a weird fucking voice. The redhead grips his phone hard in frustration, trying to calm himself down. Out of the blue, Chuuya had received a call from his old partner, complaining about a problem, even though the bastard ghosted him for 4 years. Not a single call or text during all that time. Now this audacious man had the nerve to reach out for help. Ridiculous. How the hell is this my problem, Dazai? See, I can do the voice when it's the word Dazai. I can do the voice when there's Dazai in it. Why the hell is that my problem? See, that's a pretty good Chuuya voice. Oh god, okay. Dazai persists, his tone annoyingly carefree. All you have to do is watch over the little Atsushi. You see, as his mentor, I'm so worried about him. What if someone tries to take advantage of him while he's drunk and alone? We can't have that now, can we? You didn't answer my question, the redhead growls, one eyebrow twitching. Also, what the hell? You left him drunk and alone? You see, I'm chasing the woman of my dreams. The ideal double suicide. Besides, the brunette shackles triumphantly, clearly anticipating this outcome. You have no reason to reject me, Chuuya. I fucking hate you. Go fuck yourself. Well, thanks. I'll send the address. I'll owe you for this one. Darcy says into the phone receiver, hanging out with its kissing sound. The redhead's irritated expression is clearly visible, and it makes Atsushi nervous, as if he said something wrong and struck a nerve. His eyes widen slightly, and he quickly stammers, "Oh, it's okay, you don't have to tell me." His hands fumbling with his white shirt as he tries to ease the tension in the air. Huh? What? Chuuya shakes his head, clearly confused as he watches Atsushi's anxious expression. He sighs, trying to clear up whatever misunderstanding that was brewing in the air. That damn bastard didn't tell me why. The frustration fades from his face as he tries not to be frightening, spreading his legs and brushing against the white-haired man as he settles more comfortably into the couch. Then why did you? Does I? I wanted to. That's all. The answer was quick to escape from the redhead's lips. Well, at least Darzai didn't threaten him to do anything, Atsushi thinks. He knows how Darzai can be unpredictable, always twisting things to his advantage no matter the situation. Still, a part of him wonders about his mentor's decision. However, he quickly pushes the thought away. So, if you need anything, let me know, okay? Chuuya waits for the other's response, unsure of how much he really wants or needs to hear from him. Really? Anything? Yes, anything. So, about my confession? Atsushi hesitates for a moment, the heat in his cheeks intensifying as he scrambles to find the right words. The redhead pauses, staring at Atsushi. Please don't tell me this is what I think it is. His mind races. Atsushi swallows before continuing, his voice a little shakier now. If you were him, would you say yes? Just as Chuuya predicted. Unfortunately, it came to reality. Sure, when he mentioned anything, he hadn't expected that kind of question. He was thinking maybe Atsushi would ask him for water or something else simple. Anything to avoid the tension in the air, but not this. Well, the white-haired man repeats, leaning slightly forward to hear him better. His voice barely above a whisper, bright heterochromatic eyes lock onto the other blue ones as he searches for something beneath the surface, wanting an honest answer, jeez. The redhead struggles and continues his sentence, his cheeks feeling warm as he turns his head to look away. He can no longer meet the other's gaze, the intensity of those eyes making him feel exposed and embarrassed. The silence between them thickens, and Chuuya's breath catches slightly, trying to steady himself without giving away how flustered he really is. The problem, Chuuya is him, So technically, it wasn't that question was indirectly directed at him. He turns his head back to look at Atsushi, ready to give him an answer, but something unexpected happens. Concern begins to replace his flustered concern begins to replace his flustered moments when he sees Atsushi's hand over his mouth, his face peeling as if he's about to throw up. Oh my fucking god, Atsushi. There. Why does that sound like a grown man? What tree is... Oh. There. Chuuya gently pats Atsushi's back. After guiding him to the bathroom, his tone softening as he stands behind him. He worriedly watches Atsushi vomit, the sound echoing in the big space for some time. Atsushi flushes the toilet when he's done, quietly telling Chuuya to go outside first, and that he'll come out after washing his face. Chuuya agrees, stepping outside of the bathroom to leave him there. He stands in the living room, watching the clock as time passes by. After 10 minutes, the white-haired man walks out, his hands wrapped around his stomach in discomfort. Chuuya rushes towards him, gently guiding him back to the couch. Are you okay? No, my throat feels sore. You need a rest. Don't move around too much. Chuuya takes the empty cup, walking to the kitchen again to get more water. Atsushi leans back on the couch, his body heavy with exhaustion. The discomfort in his stomach still persists. Despite the discomfort, his eyelids grow heavy, the heaviness creeping in slowly but steadily. The couch seems to invite him to settle in for a quick nap. Or maybe that's because he hasn't been getting enough sleep, due to the increasing amount of paperwork at the agency, which causes him... Cars, could you not? Okay. Which causes... Hang on. The couch seems to invite him to settle in for a quick nap. Or maybe it's because he hasn't been getting enough sleep, due to the increasing amount of paperwork at the agency, which causes him to stay up later than he wants. Slowly, his breathing evens out, and before long, the soft rhythm of his breathing fills the room. When the redhead returns, the white-haired man has already fallen asleep. Chuuya thinks it's cute, but sleeping on the couch is far too uncomfortable. After placing a cup of water on the kitchen counter, he walks over to the sleeping man, careful not to make a sound that might disrupt his rest. He gently slides one arm under Atsushi's back and the other one under his legs, lifting him up effortlessly. Chuuya's head rests against Chuuya's chest. Atsushi's head rests against Chuuya's chest. As the redhead carried him into the bedroom, the same muttered words slipped. As the redhead carries him into the bedroom, the same muttered words slip from the white-haired man's lips. I like you a lot, Chuuya. He keeps repeating the word each time, making Chuuya more flustered. His grip on Atsushi loosens when he places him on the bed. He covers Atsushi with a blanket to keep him warm, then sits beside him on the edge of the bed. Chuuya's mind drifts back to the earlier question. If you were him, would you say yes? He never got a chance to answer. But now, seeing Atsushi sleepily murmur how much he likes him, even in his dreams, it feels like a cute and heartwarming scene. Chuuya leans down and quietly answers, "You want to know my answer? The truth is..." In Atsushi's dreams, he finds himself thinking of Chuuya, who smiles sweetly at him, which is surprisingly pleasant, especially since he usually has nightmares about the orphanage. The only thing he can do is focus on Chuuya's presence. Nothing else seems to capture his attention the same way. Chuuya's lips gently settle on his forehead, making Atsushi almost making Atsushi collapse on the spot, followed by the warmth of Chuuya as he brushes his fingers softly against his cheek. Then the words slipped from the redhead's lips. They were soft. The words slipped from the redhead's lips are soft, filled with such a loving tone in the form of a whisper loud enough for Atsushi's ear to hear. He feels like he could melt. The feelings are so comforting that it feels as if he was experiencing it in reality, as if the redhead had done it in the real world. I like you a lot too, Atsushi. Okay guys, that was the two-shot Monzun Tontin by Violetfruity. Sorry if I started a lot in the second chapter, but give me a break. It's like 1:40 in the morning. I got this permission about an hour ago. I've been recording non-stop. But anyways, it'll probably be about like 3 o'clock by the time I post this. God help me. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed. I love this fic. It's so sweet. And as I said before, I think I did at least, I discovered this ship today. It was actually Gacha Life reaction video. Yes, I know, I watch them. I know, it's weird. Yes, and I like them. Yes. Anyways. Yeah, I like them. But anyway, I saw a video about ChuuAtsu. Yep, ChuuAtsu is the ship name. But yeah, I saw a ChuuAtsu video, Gacha Life reaction video, and it was actually amazing. Like, just the idea of it, I never thought of it, and I was like, I have to read fanfiction on this now. And this was the first one that caught my eye. I absolutely loved it. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please get some sleep. I won't be, but please, I'm on school holidays. I can afford it. Like, honestly, I can afford not getting sleep. God help me. I've stayed up to 5 a.m. for the past 2 days in a row. And I'm probably going to do it again tonight. Yay. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to take care of yourself, unlike what I'm doing. And I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.